All right, this is the final part of number 3 from the 2019 FRQ exam. This is the no calculator section. So we're going back to that graph of f, continuous function from -6 to 5. You're shown a part of the graph. We have line segments, a quarter circle centered at the 0.53, and then they give you the 0.3, 3 minus root 5 being on the graph of f. So part D is a 1-point question, and it is a limit question. And the first thing that we always would try first is if plugging in the x value gives you the answer. Oopsie. So that's the first thing I'm going to try. I have 10 to the first minus 3 f prime of 1 over f of 1 minus arctan of 1. And remember that the limit notation goes away as soon as you plug in your 1. So everywhere that we had an x, we plugged in a 1 to get what I wrote. 10 to the first is 10 minus 3. And then f prime of 1 means that you're looking at the f graph, but we're looking for the derivative. And the derivative is the slope of the tangent line, or if you want to just think of it as the slope, that is fine too. So when you go to an x value of 1, it's linear. So a tangent line is just going to look like the line. And so the derivative is the slope of that line, the slope of that line segment. And the slope of that line segment is that it goes up 2 and over 1, up 2 over 1. So that slope is 2. So the derivative or the slope of the tangent line or the slope at x equals 1 is 2. And then on the bottom you have f of 1. And this is a really different question than we just answered, because f of 1 just says when you go to the f graph, when the x value is 1, what is the output or what is the y value? And so when you look at x equals 1 on the graph of f, the output or the y value is equal to 1. Then we have arctan of 1, and this is definitely the curveball of this question. Arctan is the same thing as inverse tan. That notation is also a little bit tough, but the inverse is always asking for an angle. So this is saying what angle has a tangent of 1, right? Whenever you see that inverse, it's looking for an angle. So what angle has a tangent of 1? I have the unit circle here. And another thing to remember is this is your angle, this is the x value, and this is the y value. So tangent, TOA, is opposite over adjacent, or y over x. So when you are looking on the unit circle, you're looking for where is the y coordinate over the x coordinate equal to 1. If you want to pause and try to find that, you can go ahead. And the answer is at pi over 4. At pi over 4, the x coordinate and the y coordinate are the same. So when you would put the y coordinate over the x coordinate, they're the same thing, they're equal, so it would just be 1. So remember that arctan or inverse tangent is looking for what angle has a tangent of 1, and so the angle is pi over 4. So the arctan of 1 is pi over 4. Okay, so that part was tricky. The arctan, even the fact that they called it arctan instead of inverse tan, even inverse tan is a tricky question. I do still really like this question because it reminds us the difference between f of 1, which is looking for an output or y value, and f prime of 1, which is looking for the derivative or the slope at that particular point. You can leave that as your answer. You can also simplify a little bit. So I'm going to erase this. And if you wanted to simplify a little bit, you could do 10 minus 6 over 1 minus pi over 4, or 4 over 1 minus pi over 4. And then we'll look at the rubric. The rubric, it was just a 1 point, like I said. They gave you 1 point for the answer, and they needed you to get to this point. I think you could keep going and find a common denominator on the bottom and keep on simplifying, but there's no reason to do that. So 1 point if you got the answer. You could also leave it in that unsimplified form that we first wrote. And that's it for that question.